Welcome to Let Freedom Ring. Today is a special day because we are celebrating the 2-year anniversary of the show. I couldn't be more excited. I can't believe we've made it this far. It's great stuff going on here. As always, we got security here. We're keeping Soapy Pre-Op out. We're keeping out anybody that's trying to get into the studio. We're supposed to have Leo Connors here. He was the first guest ever on the show. He could not make it today, but instead we have returning to the show my brother, Bobby Beaulieu.
Thanks. It's not fair that I get kind of the screw job. The algorithm gets messed up. No one even knows I'm coming. So if your number counts are down, that is not my fault. It is Leo's fault. Just putting it out there. I just want that known. It's not my fault.
I do apologize. I know there was a lot of people that were excited to see Leo. People are still excited to see you on the show. I will say I did have a framed picture made for Leo. I signed it. The signature is not really great. Have you ever signed with a Sharpie before?
I've never had good luck with it, so I kind of avoid it at this point.
It never comes out good, but we have this. It's Leo on my show for the first time, me the first time that I was on Leo's show. I did not have a gift for you, Bobby, but I do have some Haribo gummies for you. That is your gift for being the 2-year anniversary guest. Don't eat them all at once.
I appreciate this. Victoria will eat all of them.
Okay.
I don't have work tomorrow, so they'll sit there and she'll get to them. This will go right next to my 3-time championships.
State champ.
State champ 3 times. A lot of the awards and accolations that I've had over the years. Hopefully one day when I'm being inducted into the World Hall of Fame, this will be right there next to my face.
Well, keep them there. At least the wrapper. I mean, just don't give them to Terry. We know the cat should not be eating gummies.
He will eat them.
But he'll eat.
I'll make sure that he doesn't get to them.
I will say, you have the only cat that I know that I've stayed at your place a few times. You guys have been on your honeymoon.
Yep.
I've cat sit.
Yeah, cat sit.
Terry. You can't make a meal without this cat trying to get into it. And I've never known a cat to do that. Usually it's dogs.
Yes, so he has a thyroid issue, which comes from PFOAs. If you're listening to this in Merrimack, you know all about PFOAs, right? It's in the water. But it's in the stuff in the rugs, and since the 80s, cats have started to develop that because of the scratching, which can lead to just ridiculous amount of hunger. So yeah, I had to clean everything up and get rid of it, or else he hops on the counter and starts eating it.
It's absolute. It's ridiculous. I don't know if I was making. I think I was just making like chicken fingers. Boom, he jumps up.
Oh yeah, he'll eat that.
And I'm like, most cats don't do that. I expect that from a dog.
Yeah, but, it's funny. He got into hot sauce one time, and like I thought he was like gonna have a hairball because he's like making that noise, but he's like just going and it's like, oh, Terry, don't do that anymore. Just stay off the table.
Terry is more like a dog than a cat.
He is. Yeah,
like, you walk in, he starts rubbing your leg. He wants all your attention. He'll sit in your lap. Most cats I know, they don't care about you at all.
Yeah.
This cat can't get enough of humans.
Right. And he's been even worse since we got Roger, the dog. So he like kind of meow barks at me when he's wants something, things like that. Kind of things that he's learned from Roger. So yeah, we have a cat dog. It's crazy.
Big shout out to Terry. I love Terry. That's my I guess my cat nephew.
Yep.
Is the way I would put it. But it's been a little while since you've been on the show, probably since the summertime. How have you been since the last time you were on the show?
Been good. We got married. I don't know if I've been on the show since then.
Oh, you did. We did do a virtual appearance.
Virtual one, yes. So I got married, starting my MBA program.
That's right.
It's WrestleMania season.
It is WrestleMania
represent the bloodline and acknowledge me, Roman Reigns. It's a good time of year, like we have those weird, odd snow days and the warm days in between, so it's getting rocking,
Yeah, you really are rocking a lot of the Roman Reigns gear. You're not played out with the whole Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar stuff yet, or are you digging this?
Oh, I will never be not into Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. They're the two big dogs from the WWE. Cowboy Brock Lesnar is hilarious.
I agree.
And now you can finally be himself. I don't know if you saw him on Pat McAfee's show. He's hilarious. Like, he's just a funny dude. And Roman Reigns, I've been there since day one. I've been day one-ish with him.
I have not,
so
I will admit.
I will say when he came up and everyone's like, oh, John Cena stinks and all that other stuff, I was like, oh, I'm going to get on the Roman Reigns train, like at the beginning, because I should have done that with Cena at the beginning. But
yeah, I never wanted to be on the Cena train.
Yeah, I don't want to, but
I still don't really want to be on the Cena train.
I don't know his new show.
I do
on
like
HBO.
John Cena, but like at the time, like I loved Hulk Hogan growing up.
Yep.
I went through the Attitude Era.
Yep.
John Cena was not going to do it for me in my early 20s.
Yeah,
There's no
probably not.
chance.
I mean, I was a Miz fan at that point, but
Yeah.
no, yeah, I will always be the Roman Reigns fan. Although John Cena, though, his new show on HBO, you got to check it out. Really funny.
I will have to check it out. Are you an Ozark fan? Just curious.
Not really. I don't. That's one where the guy's a drug dealer. Or he like helps
Money
spread the money
launderer.
laundering. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of like the good guy is really a bad guy type TV show.
I think you got to watch it.
Like Breaking Bad. Everyone always tells me I got to watch Breaking Bad.
Love
I watched
Bad.
Breaking Bad until that episode where he let the girl die. When he came in there and he saw Jesse and his girlfriend, and they were both on their last
Walter
day, and
White,
she
yeah.
dies, and that's the snap in him where he changed from one character to another, and I was like, all right, I'm done with this. Can't do it.
I actually disagree. I think Walter White was always kind of a bad character. Oh, wait, what's going on here? Oh,
Hey.
Hello, everybody. I just want to congratulate you on 2 years.
Hey, thank you,
of
Jesse.
Freedom Ring.
Yeah.
2 years ago, the Patriots had Tom Brady. They were playoff bound, and now the Buffalo Bills have taken the driver's seat in the AFC East, and they go further in the playoffs than the Patriots do now. So these last few years have been good for you and for me, so it's great. And Ozark is a great show. I think you should give it a shot.
you should give it a
I'll try
shot.
it sometime.
And yeah, I just heard the name Jesse, so I came running. Radar just
It just came right
picked
in.
it up, so I got here as quick as I could.
No.
I want to congratulate you on your 2 years.
Yeah.
Jesse, I much appreciate that. I love that you could stop by and come in the show. Do I love the Bills comment? Probably not. I think we have to learn to deal with that.
I
at
think
this point.
he made a very good point, though, that I think without Let Freedom Ring, Tom Brady doesn't lead the Patriots.
So we're saying that I'm the reason that Tom Brady left the Patriots. It's kind of true. How does that happen? No, I know we're supposed to be celebrating here.
So, sorry,
And
I
I feel
shouldn't
like
do
my
that.
whole aura of Let Freedom Ring has just been crumbled.
No, it's not your fault. It was Belichick's fault. So.
Tom, I'm sorry. You had to go play for the Bucks. Now you're retired.
Or is he?
We don't know.
He hasn't signed the paperwork.
We don't know. I do have one other question for you, and that was awesome that Jesse was able to stop in. That meant a lot. What was it like when you had to host the show?
It was different. It was fun. I think I learned to wing it, which, I wouldn't say that's what I've been doing my entire career, but I feel like we all do as adults. Like, we just kind of wing it. It was, cool to be on the other side, ask some questions, and you really got to stick to that counter. And I kept looking at the clock, and I tried to make sure that in the episode I wasn't just doing this. Like, going,
You do find yourself.
You do find yourself just double checking.
I try to hide it. I hope people don't notice. Like that. A lot of times, I hope Justin's like panning to the guests when I'm like actually looking at the clock.
Yeah, I think you wouldn't know.
I think he's got a
He's
knack
very
for
good
that.
at it.
He's like,
He's,
I think he knows when I'm looking.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, oh, here's the guest.
Yep.
You
Yeah,
know.
you just gotta make sure. So it was a fun, enjoyable time, especially because I think that was another one where I had to come in to save the day again. It might have actually been Leo was supposed to be on too.
That might
time.
have been another Leo.
That might have been another
episode.
Leo incident.
And I think that you
Not-
definitely surpassed Leo. Oh, as the person to be on the show the most. Oh, as the figures are falling.
That's all right. We got this
here
all.
today. I do have another kind of question that kind of revolves around the show.
Yeah.
You're the third guest ever.
I was the third man. Yes.
Yes, you were like Hulk Hogan of Let Freedom Ring.
I think it was a bigger thing than Hulk Hogan in 1996 being the third man
Really?
on
Yeah,
the show.
I
I
could
really
see
do.
that. What was it like? What'd you think when I asked you to be on the show? Were you like, is he serious? Is this really going to work out? Or
Yeah.
what
no,
are you thinking at that point?
I thought it was a good start. I'll be honest, just like a lot of other people, I thought it was more a political satire show. It's not.
Thank you.
It's
It's taken a long time for people to realize that.
Yes, I think we are fully understanding it is not a political show, but at first, you didn't know with the name. I had fun. I think if you go back and watch all of my episodes, I've gotten a little more comfortable in the camera being on here. I think that first day I was like, you got to pull teeth trying to get people to talk sometimes, but I think you've done very well at not having those issues as some other people would have when it comes to interviewing people.
I will say when I watch early episodes, and if you get this, I'm doing this a lot. I'm like the whole time my face is in my hands.
Yeah.
And I just didn't know how to sit.
Right.
Like, to be honest, I didn't. And like even this picture that we have that I shared, I'm like this talking to Leo.
You're like this.
As you can see in the picture, like look where my hand is.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
You're
I was not comfortable as a host yet. And you really don't want your host to have their hands in their face the whole time.
Yeah.
If you look at those early episodes, that's what I'm doing. I'm this, I'm that. And then I learned to be like, just sit in the chair.
just opening up, yeah.
You know, and I got a lot of criticism for that. And I appreciate that from a lot of people because I'll be honest, when we first started, I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
It's like Ricky Bobby. You're like, I don't know what to do with my hands.
Where do I put
like,
my hands?
Where do I put my hands?
And
Like Ricky just put them down. And he's just like, I don't know what to do with these.
It's true. And then you learn to be like, all right, your hands don't have to be part of everything.
Right.
You know, so yeah, it's been wild, and I appreciate you being the third guest. Mac Wilson was number 2.
Yep.
We started with Leo. I mean, we've come a long way. We never expected
Many guests at this point.
we had a lot of people that were just on the online show.
Yeah.
Which is not what the whole intention of the show was. The whole intention was to be here in the studio.
Yeah.
And COVID hits at the third episode.
Yeah, that was brutal.
I'm pretty sure me and you were walking out, and you're like, yeah, this is probably something we really have to worry about. And I've been working from home ever since.
Yeah, same, right? I think we had just came back from D.C.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, technically that was the fourth, wasn't I? Because didn't you do Tim Hogan?
Tim Hogan was...
I was the third in studio.
I'm sorry.
I was third in studio.
Yes,
Yeah.
we did have Tim Hogan. Shout out to Tim Hogan. On location is where that was.
Yeah, because we were in D.C. And I think I'd still find it ridiculous how we were going through there.
We're so cocky.
I sped through New York. I was like, I'm not stopping. If you're going to get COVID, it would be in New York. We went to D.C. We're like, it's not down here. Kara Hogan's like, there's no cases of COVID in D.C. And then like that day, they had like 4 or 5 positive tests. Like,
I remember we were like, at the COVID Cabana. We were singing that the whole way down. Why we put Colt Cabana?
Yeah.
And COVID Cabana together. We thought it was hysterical.
Yeah, those long car
And
rides.
we came home.
Then we came home and I was like, oh, hey, you can't return to the office for the foreseeable future. Oh, and March 2020 is going to feel like 8 years. That was the longest 2.5 weeks.
March 2020 was awful.
Yeah.
That was, I wouldn't say the worst time I ever had, because obviously I've talked about this on Facebook and stuff. I do suffer from seasonal depression pretty bad.
Yeah.
That was like seasonal depression, like special.
Yeah.
Hey, it sucks outside, but you can't leave either.
Yeah.
You know, like it was very like, I'm glad when it ended, once we got to April and I was outside just swinging a softball bat by myself. And that was like a treat.
I was training for the Tough Rock, and all of a sudden it was like the Tough Rock was done. And
do you see light at the end of the tunnel of the pandemic now?
I think so. There's not going to be many more regulations coming through. I think we'll still have mask issues over the time, but I think we're already like 2 years in. I don't foresee any more craziness happening. It should slow down. We'll stop having Facebook doctors and all the other stuff. But yeah, I think we're towards the end.
Where do you see the pandemic going?
I think the whole world's shifting anyways. So the pandemic is kind of going to the back burner. We're slowly getting the cases down. Now we're kind of more.
Dan, I'm just so.
Oh,
it's Justin out back here. I'm just, I'm just scrolling through my phone while you guys are yakking away, and it just popped up on here that it's been 2 years since you started this show, and I really just, I just had to get on here and say, congratulations. Thank you so much on behalf of the Merrimack TV staff here for providing, great shows for people to watch and a consistent schedule coming in and getting this stuff done and, really bringing the energy here to the studio. And we really appreciate it. And, here's to 2 more years, man, and more. If you got it in you, we'll have you anytime. I really appreciate it. We really do love having you. So.
Justin, thank you so much. That means a lot. I'm glad that I could hear that.
Yeah.
That means a lot. I could not do this show without Justin.
No, you couldn't.
100%. No. This show does not happen without Justin. It doesn't happen without Nick and Colin as well. I couldn't be more appreciative of Merrimack TV in general, because that's what makes the magic here happen at Let Freedom Ring.
It is, yeah. And I will say, like, I do appreciate your online shows, but hearing the intro song on TV versus when you have to pull up your phone to do it,
It's not
so
the
much
same.
better. It's not the same.
It's not the same.
You know.
Plus, half the time when I'm on the online shows, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. like I come in here and I have Justin back there, and it's like it's guiding me. And sometimes it's calling, and I'm like, I'm looking to them. They're looking, they're helping me guide me through the show. So, we love Merrimack TV.
Yeah.
Absolutely love Merrimack TV. Justin, couldn't do this show without you, 100%. We did have some questions for Leo that didn't actually happen. Obviously, Leo's not here.
Yeah.
Anthony Brogna, you might have known him as Royce Bishop.
Oh, I know Royce.
He had some questions. What are some matches you have on your all-time independent wrestling dream matches?
Oh, that is so tough.
It's not an easy question.
Because this is bad to say. I have fallen off the independents a little bit just because of COVID.
Well, they could have made it big and still, at some point, have been in New England independent wrestling.
Okay, so anyone ever who's been through the ring. Carmelo Hayes and Kofi, right? I mean, Kofi did a short stint here in New England.
He got signed up pretty quick.
He did get signed up pretty quick, which is totally understandable. Which, I mean, theoretically, we could see that at some point in a WWE ring. Because I think Carmelo we were talking about for many years that he was like the next big guy. Like, he was it. And then when he got left behind with that whole group that went up there, I was like, how do you leave Christian behind? Christian Casanova at the time. And, dude, he's just stud, man. The guy is... Him and Kobe are probably one of the ones that independent-wise.
Well, I remember when Christian we really wanted him to be the champion.
Yeah.
And Chaotic was teasing it.
Yep.
Even though he was the heel, it never really happened. And then he finally wins the title. I remember, I drove the show by myself. I was like, I think Christian's going to win the title tonight.
Yeah.
And, I cannot miss this.
Yep.
And he finally beats JT Dunn.
Yep.
And we went nuts. The crowd went nuts. They're like, because it was more, if you're a wrestling fan, you truly understand how much they appreciate professional wrestling, especially at the independent level, where Christian came up as this scrawny Michael Jackson wannabe.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
That no one was like...
opening match.
Just a young kid that everybody's like, I don't get it.
Yep.
And how hard he worked.
Yep.
And then one day, the audience just went, holy shit, that's our guy.
Yeah. And we followed that whole thing because we had just got into Chaotic right around 2013 or whatever.
And he debuted in 2014.
2013,
He was one of Fury's training.
Yeah, I
trainees.
think he had started professional wrestling before that, but
Yeah.
we had really come in and he was kind of an opener or a match that would be right before the intermission where they knew people would be getting up and moving around. I think Anthony Green at the time was the popcorn guy because he was the fired ref.
Well, there's even before. No, that was after. That was later. That was 2016.
Yeah.
They both started off very just scrawny, early 20s kids. And even Anthony Green's become so awesome. I wish that his time in WWE could have gone longer. AEW's found a liking in him.
Yeah.
But I would put Christian Casanova, now Carmelo Hayes. The fact that he's on television every week.
Yep.
Man, that kid was gifted. He is gifted, I should say.
Yeah, he gets it. He's got it. And I hope when he does make it to the main roster that they don't drop the ball there. I'm hopeful. But, yeah, it's crazy. I don't know. I wish I got more independent wrestling younger than I had waited too long.
I mean, I have a lot of photos with him. I have signed pictures of him.
Yeah.
I was always a big fan. And one thing I will say about Christian was he was so humble.
Yeah.
And even as he's now made to WWE, he's still very humble. And I think he still remembers the people that supported him before he was.
I have the culture hat.
You got to. And I got to say this. The night he won the title, Brian Fury was still the promoter. And he came up to me and goes, did you like the show tonight? And I said, you're damn right. Because, I waited.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm getting a picture with Christian in the title tonight. So I got the picture with him. And Fury came up to me and goes, did you like the show tonight? I go, I did. He goes, I know you did. Because he had seen our posts.
Yeah.
How frustrated we were when he didn't win the title. And then they booked, I believe it was Josh Briggs versus JT Dunn for the title at Cold Fury.
Yep.
And I remember us all being like, no,
No.
that ain't it. We want Christian, not Josh Briggs.
Yeah.
Josh Briggs, another guy in NXT right now, not killing it to the level of Christian.
No, I don't think he's figured out his gimmick there. I don't think he's figured.
Well, he's in a tag team with
Yeah.
what's the guy there? Bull Buchanan's son.
Yeah, but that usually for me, and no offense to the tag team division, I don't want to hear about it. I know everyone says how great it is in AEW. In NXT, it feels like if you're in a tag team, they don't know what to do with you, so
That
they
could
put
be.
you in a tag team.
That
So
could very
if
well
you don't
be.
have the belts, you're just kind of there.
It's tough, and I do like NXT 2.0 a lot.
Yeah, same.
Now, again, this show is geared towards Leo, so we have a lot of wrestling stuff.
No,
here.
I mean I do watch a lot of wrestling.
But I would ask you this too. AEW started about 3 years ago,
Yep.
and to me, it's been awesome. There's been times where I'm very critical of Tony Khan.
Yeah, I don't really care for Tony Khan the person.
Cody Rhodes, one of the founding fathers, one of the reasons
EVP.
for all elite wrestling is Cody Rhodes.
Yep.
And I will say, he has had such an impact on professional wrestling. He's from Wrestling Dynasty.
Yeah.
He's left.
It's not a good sign. That I understand it's a money thing, but he's an EVP. He's one of the original creators. You know, when they did that meeting down in Jacksonville where they did an announcement, he was the leading part of that announcement.
Yeah, I think he was maybe one of the first or second people out there besides the Bucks.
Something smells fishy when it comes to the management of AEW in that situation for Cody to go didn't leave. No, some people are saying it's work. I think at this point you can tell it's not a work.
If it's a work, it's a bad work.
It's bad work.
Yeah.
But for Cody going to WWE is a big deal if he ends up in WWE. If he doesn't end up in WWE and he just like goes and does something else, like does TV or whatever. But if he ends up in WWE, there's something bad that happened in AEW, and we're not going to find out till later, which is kind of frustrating because there must have been a rift between the Bucks, Kenny, Cody, and all
Well,
them.
there had been talk about that for a while.
Yeah.
That there was a falling out between the Young Bucks, Cody Rhodes, and Omega. I never thought it would lead to any of them leaving.
No, neither did I. I never thought Cody would go back to WWE. I felt like
Well, he's not there yet. He could
Right.
be retired for all we know.
Right.
I will say this, in my honest opinion, I feel like he said to Tony Khan, I'm a star.
He is.
I'm just as big a star as CM Punk. I'm just as big a star as Daniel Bryan. I agree with.
Yep.
Not everybody does.
I think he's bigger than Daniel Bryan, at least.
I think Daniel Bryan's a little bit more overrated than...
Yeah, Cody. CM
See,
Punk.
I know CM Punk.
Punk had crossover.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan didn't. So I think Cody was a bigger star than Daniel Bryan is. I think Daniel Bryan had a big moment.
I still love Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
We should be calling Bryan Danielson, but whatever.
Bryan Danielson, I'm sorry. Would I rather watch a Cody match?
Yep.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
Do you
And he made stars. He made the stars that are there. Sammy Guevara and all those other guys that he did these TNT matches for and put them over. And another thing that AEW has an issue with is now their roster is too big and too bloated and there's too many.
We're going to talk about that in 1 second.
Yeah.
I have one other question on Cody. Did any of this have to do with Brandy? She had said on Roads to the Top,
Yep.
she wanted another run at wrestling. I hate to say it, Brandy Rhodes, you don't have it.
Yep.
She doesn't have it on the mic, in the ring. There's not anything that's that interesting to me about Brandy Rhodes.
Right.
She wasn't going to do anything in AEW.
No.
Does that have any impact on Cody's decision to leave?
It could. I hope it doesn't. I hope that's not what it came down to. I hope it's not a Jerry Lawler situation. You
I don't
know,
think it's. I mean, I'm just saying, like, did it impact it at all?
maybe, because I don't know where she would go and work. Like I don't.
It ain't WWE.
No, it ain't WWE. I don't think they're
I'll tell you that.
there unless they kind of go back towards where I've heard that they could go back towards that Divas type of style. But I hope it's not that because that would be very unfair to Cody's career.
I feel like there's multiple things that happen there.
Yeah.
Honestly, the whole fact of Cody not being able to go for the title really early on always made me lead like he's
Stupid.
going to be the champion at some point.
Yeah, I felt like that was stupid.
And now it's like, what the hell happened there?
I think it's the big money signings that happened in the fall that led to the part with Cody going, I want my pay. And they were like, well, we don't have the money in the budget, things like that. they weren't going to agree to a payment, so he's going to go somewhere else.
I will
Especially with WWE giving out money.
And I do want to say this. Cody was the face of AEW. There's no one that has more merchandise, wrestling figures, anything than Cody Rhodes in AEW.
Right.
He was, I'm going to get shit on for this. He was the Hulk Hogan of AEW.
He was.
Okay, and I think Tony Khan didn't see him being that star.
Right.
And I think that's very unfortunate.
And it's nothing against Kenny Omega or the Young Bucks. I knew of them. I didn't care about any of them until Cody left WWE, went to Ring of Honor and all those independents in New Japan, and then I started seeing them. I knew of Kenny Omega, but I didn't really care for New Japan Pro Wrestling. And as he started to kind of go to New Japan Pro Wrestling, I would order the pay-per-views, and I would see Cody, and I would see Kenny go, oh, Kenny has got it. And I've never cared for the Young Bucks. I never will.
I know you don't. I will say this. I think that Cody was the star, and I think they're missing out there. Is AEW signing way too many people? It is. I mean, last night we saw Buddy Murphy show up under whatever name he is. Buddy Matthews. We know there's some other signings going on. Like, is this just Tony Khan playground? Like, I'm going to sign everybody, and we have 3 hours of TV time, and I have no idea how they're all getting on.
And the thing that Eric Bischoff used to get complained about just signing people is what Tony's
I think Keith
doing.
Lee was the week before.
Yeah, and the only difference between Eric Bischoff and Tony Khan to me is that Eric Bischoff was using Ted Turner's money. Tony Khan is using Daddy's money. So I think they're overdoing it. There's just too much. Like, even the pay-per-view build-up that's supposed to be in a week and a half. I know there's matches signed. I don't feel like there's a build-up all over it. There's too many people. And they all can't be big stars. You don't have a mid-card. You have a no-card. You have nothing because you have too many people.
The product feels like it's gone a little stale.
Yeah.
Like I said, you have 3 hours of television time, and you're signing everybody under the moon.
Yep.
Now, I get their contracts are very different.
Yes.
Like, you get signed to AEW. It's not like WWE. It's like they're the only ones that have rights to you. You can go wrestle wherever.
Yep.
But if I'm the casual viewer and I want to see Keith Lee, you now sign Keith Lee. I want to see Keith Lee
I
every
might not
week.
see it for 2 weeks.
Well, last night he debuted. Now he had an interview. When's he gonna be on TV again? Like,
maybe on Friday night. And then you sign Adam Cole, and I get it. You want
he's
to
in the title picture.
He is, and I get it. You debuted Bryan Danielson in the same pay-per-view, which I thought was kind of a little shot at Adam Cole. But you've also cooled off Adam Cole over the same time period, because yes, he's undefeated, and he's going to get this title shot on March 6th. But you've cooled him off, like.
He's also cooled himself off, though.
I think the way they just run it, the way they run their television, cools wrestlers off faster. Because, no offense, I don't have time to watch YouTube.
He also looks like a guy that doesn't care anymore. Now, I'm not saying that I am the physique that you want. At one point, maybe I was.
Yeah.
I'm not the physique that you aim to have.
Right.
Adam Cole's body has very much changed since going to AEW.
Yeah, he's gotten smaller.
He does not look like a guy that's hitting the gym at all.
Right.
Like, maybe he's around Britt Baker a little bit more and he's just having a good time. But, like, you look at him and you go, you look like a guy whose boss doesn't care.
Yeah, I can see that.
You know, like, I'm not saying that I'm the picture perfect of physique. I'm not a professional wrestler.
Right.
Adam Cole looks like he should be running a bowling alley right now.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, he's spending too much time in Florida. Like, I don't understand, and maybe they'll get there, but you have a story written in there already with the Young Bucks and Kenny, which he's hurt, so, like, maybe you just gotta wait for Kenny to come back. And then you have the Undisputed Era basically there, and you have a way to, like, a feud in between that factions, which also is another problem with me, is that Hangman Page, by the way, is lost in the shuffle, and he's the world heavyweight champion.
And he's an afterthought.
I couldn't care any less about his title run at this point.
It was more about him winning it than the actual run. The run's
been terrible. And Kenny's run was so good. Like, I guess maybe you should have they should have did a transitional champion in between. Maybe to give him a chance, but.
It feels like, remember when Big Show won the title in 2000?
Yeah.
And, like, he was feuding with the Big Boss Man, and, like, nobody cared, and they took the title right off him?
Yep.
That's what Adam Cole feels like.
Yeah.
That's how CM Punk was treated in WWE, yet he had it for over a year.
Yep.
But you cared about the CM Punk matches. I like Hangman. I don't care.
Yeah, and I don't care about that, and I'm curious how they do this pay-per-view, because at this point, CM Punk and MJF is your main event, no matter where they go on.
That's cooled off.
It got a little better last night because then the actual post came through. Like
I haven't watched it yet.
MJF cut a promo about how like he left college and all this other stuff to pursue professional wrestling because of CM Punk.
I could see that,
but
yeah.
out of spite because he quit. And like he literally had a Facebook post from 2014 where he posted about it.
I'd seen something about that. I'll
Yeah,
have to go back
and that
look.
so it's got more hype than the main event, which Hangman Page and Adam Cole are going to tear the house down. It's going to be a great match. Dave Meltzer will give it 5 stars. I won't care because I don't care about the feud.
I do think they have a thing with Punk and MJF. I'll have to go back and watch that promo because I didn't see it yet. And the second person that said that was amazing.
Yeah.
Doesn't shock me with MJF.
No, nothing
My God,
else,
is he talented. I do think he has to tone it down a little bit. I thought the interview with the little girl telling her father that her father would have been happier if he wore a condom 11 years ago to an 11-year-old was a little bit much. And I get how he always stays in character.
Was it on television?
No, this was at a signing, and it got leaked to the internet. And I thought it was. And
I'm sorry, if you're bringing your daughter to that signing, that's
I mean, you know what you're getting with MJF, but I was like, that's an 11-year-old girl, MJF. Like maybe like you were already insulting her, telling her she was an idiot, and swearing at her and everything else. But then for that, I thought that was a bit much. And I've felt the wrath of MJF. He called me a stupid redneck, and I was like, I'm not even from the South. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
But I did get to call him Cody's bitch before, right to his face. And that was nice. You see anybody jumping from AEW to WWE?
I could see FTR leaving AEW and going back to WWE at some point. I do think a lot of the guys that went from WWE to AEW might have been like, you know what? The grass wasn't as green as they thought over here. It's more like a yellowish. It's more like I'm getting a little more TV time, but now that they flooded in, I'm going to get lost in the shuffle. So like I could see them going back. There's a group of them that I definitely would never see back. Could never see Keith Lee going backwards.
No, they released Keith Lee without really giving him a chance, I thought. WrestleMania picture. How are you feeling about it so far? Do you think Cody is going to be part of that?
I do. I think he has to be, but I don't know when they're going to sign him or when they would have him come out or what they would do.
They might have already signed him. There's no. Well, I guess they're a public trade.
I mean, if you think about, because I could see him having a match with Randy Orton, right? Because of the legacy thing. But Randy Orton is clearly going to face Riddle at WrestleMania. So I don't know where you would put him with someone, unless Cody Rhodes is the person you use to facilitate the match for Kevin Owens and Stone Cold Steve Austin. I do believe this. Stone Cold Steve Austin will not wrestle at WrestleMania. He'll be a part of WrestleMania. He will not be in a wrestling match. And the fact that
he might hit a stunner.
That's not wrestling.
Yeah.
He hits stunners all the time. I'm saying that the dirt sheets are making it sound like this match is finalized. This is instant. This is in stone. He's wrestling his match. I don't think he does it.
There's a lot that would have to go into Stone Cold. He has not wrestled since 2003.
Right.
But
And
I think he could dress in the gear, throw a few punches, and give a Stone Cold stunner to Kevin Owens. And you know.
Right. I wouldn't call that a match, though. I'm saying, like, he's not going to give you 25
course
minutes.
not. Of course
But
not.
that's how they're writing it.
That's insanity if you think that Stone Cold can do that after 19 years.
No, I don't think so. I think that the best way to fill it in is Kevin Owens' jobs to Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania with an Austin angle type thing. Like, Austin somehow gets involved.
That's a very interesting take.
Because I don't know what else you would do if you signed Cody right now and bring him in Seth Rollins. Like, that's another thing I'm worried about. Seth Rollins doesn't have a direct highway to a match at WrestleMania right now. And I don't know where they're going with him.
Not sure. He's another guy. You got to have him in a marquee match.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, WrestleMania is still
38 days away.
Oh, when you put it that way, it seems like, all right, Dodo, you got to figure
You
something
got to figure something out.
right?
Like, what are we doing here? We got to figure this all out.
Yeah.
I know that like before Blood Money with that pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia.
We're talking Elimination Chamber. We call it Blood Money. I will not watch a wrestling pay-per-view that is based in Saudi Arabia. They've killed an American journalist.
Yeah.
We know how many of the hijackers were from Saudi Arabia. I do not trust that government Vince McMahon, you're kind of a scumbag for taking that money.
Yeah.
Do feel like it's blood money, but go ahead.
We knew when Brock Lesnar was putting that match for the WWE title, I was like, they're going to panic and they're going to put the belt on him because they don't know what to do with the match to have it title versus title.
They don't know what the hell they're doing.
Well, they lost Bobby Lashley, so actually it worked out in the end because Bobby Lashley was not going to wrestle at WrestleMania.
Bobby Lashley right here. We love Bobby Lashley.
Yep, get better soon.
Very big fan of his work, especially in his second WWE run.
Yeah.
He really is the star that we always thought
Yeah,
he's
been great.
Yeah, I didn't know he was hurt.
Yeah, he
That
got hurt.
changes everything.
Yeah, he got hurt during the chamber and stuff like that, so like that changed everything.
I think he was hurt before that because I
Yeah.
don't think he even got touched in the
Right before.
chamber. Oh, okay.
He got hurt right before. They basically got him in the chamber, got him out, and then they're like, belts on Brock and Roman.
Great. For the 100th time, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns.
I think it's good, though. I think it's best for business.
I think the build's good.
Yeah.
But I would like to...
I just don't
I don't
understand-
want both titles tied into one match.
You just pass it off at the next pay-per-view or whatever. But
I'm sure they can, but I want WrestleMania to be 2 title matches. That's what I want.
yeah,
2 marquee matches for a title.
But you then can put the unification belt match. It's not really a unification belt. It's belt versus belt on
Yeah.
Sunday night. Ronda Rousey can get her shining moment on Saturday night and close the pay-per-view. I just
I guess 2 nights does separate it.
does separate a little bit. But I don't understand people complaining about WWE not doing long-term booking and story building, and then they do a story building that has been going on since SummerSlam, and people are mad about it. I don't understand wrestling fans.
Well, wrestling fans are always going to complain.
Yeah.
The difference is they're always going to... It's not like watching The Walking Dead. When The Walking Dead started to suck and I was like, I can't deal with this anymore,
Yeah, season
I
4 for
turned
me.
it off.
Yeah.
Wrestling, I'm never going to turn it off.
Right.
You know. Sports related, baseball, lockout, continuing. We're talking about canceled games soon.
Yep. Well, no, it's canceled season.
The
The MLB owners said if they can't get to an agreement by the 28th, the potential of canceling the whole season outright is out there, and they will not pay the players.
Big mistake.
Big mistake. And I don't understand the people who are saying, oh, these are billionaires and millionaires fighting. It's like, well, you don't understand the situation whatsoever. Based off of the revenue, the players should be paid what they're supposed to be getting paid.
I'm always
So-
going to be on the side of the players.
Right.
I think the owners make a lot of money. You know,
Right.
more than... I understand the baseball players. Not all of them are millionaires.
No, they're not. A lot of them are just like barely making the league minimum.
Yeah.
And then people go, oh, they're making all this money. It's like, I don't understand how you don't understand. Like, you generate revenue and it gets spread out to players. When I work for my company and I generate revenue for them, I get paid more. That's how it works. So I don't understand people complaining about billionaires and millionaires. That part, I'm sorry, I'm going to rant. That pissed me off when I saw it on Facebook the other day.
I'm always going to side on the players
Sit at
union.
the players union. Yeah.
Always.
I will say baseball needs a salary cap. And you got to make teams spend. There's no reason that the Pittsburgh Pirates, who can barely win 40 games, are a profitable organization. And it's because of the revenue sharing. And it's because of how the taxes, the luxury tax works. Basically, when they go over, they basically pay back into the pool to the smaller teams. If you can't put a team together at a minimum payroll and make them actually competitive, you should lose money. The Pittsburgh Pirates and other teams like that should be penalized for not attempting to do anything and keep making money.
Yeah, that's why I think the NFL, I mean, I know it's one day a week while they're taking over.
Nailed it. They nailed it.
But one thing when people are like, well, the baseball players are so greedy or whatever, but I go, the other thing you got to look at is a baseball player's career is not very long.
No.
You're talking about franchises and owners. You want to be angry with someone when they say, well, baseball's going to pay for this. It ain't the players.
No.
It's the ownerships and the franchises that are going to that are really going to pay for it.
Right.
You know, I can't say that I want to go to a Red Sox game this year. I'll go to a Fisher Cats. I don't think the minor league teams need to be penalized.
But part of this labor issue is that the major league franchises don't want to pay the minor league players livable wages. So they were basically giving them $10,000 for a season.
Yeah.
They're getting like $56,000 or $46,000 or whatever,
they're
nothing.
not getting paid, yeah.
And the MLB teams don't want to pay them. So it doesn't just affect the major league players. The baseball agreement that they're trying to get to. So like people always forget that part. Like the smaller people who are like trying to get there, like Bill Durham's, those type of players, those guys are getting screwed right now.
It's always the little guy.
Yep.
It's always the little guy. Were you surprised the Rams won the Super Bowl, or was that just a team that looked that damn good?
No, I'm surprised. I didn't think they were good, even when they made all these moves. They're lucky that they don't really have a fan base. Because
how do you have a fan base when you've jumped around that much?
Exactly. But on top of that, you have sold your team's future to win this year, which is fine. You got a Super Bowl. You were the host. That team is cap-strapped and going to suck once all these players leave. And that's going to happen very quickly. I don't see any reason why McVay wants to stay there because he's under contract for 2 more years. This team is cap-strapped for the next 2 years. They don't have a first-round pick for the next 3 years. They've traded all those away. If I was a fan of the team, I would be like, this kind of sucks because we got a Super Bowl, but we traded it away. Like, we traded away our future.
Do you think Jesse's Buffalo Bills are a serious contender for next year?
As long as Josh Allen realizes he needs to stop running and letting people dive into his legs, Josh Allen gets hurt, the Bills are done.
I wonder if his confidence is killed after this.
I don't think so. I think his confidence in his coaching staff might be killed. Bills fans, how do you not squib kick or do something to get seconds off the clock on that kickoff with 15 seconds left? They kicked it into the end zone and gave him a full 15 seconds with 3 timeouts. I don't understand how that happened. And then you're playing way back and leaving the middle of the field open. You're playing in prevention, I get it, to prevent the touchdown, but they only need 3 points.
Against the best quarterback.
Against the best quarterback, you're leaving one of the biggest threats open in the middle and doubling up Tyree Hill, which is smart to do. But, like, that whole 15 seconds is not on Josh Allen. It's not on the players. That coaching staff choked in 15 seconds. So
I honestly wish the Bills pulled that off. And I'm not a Bills fan or anything like that, no matter what you guys try to say.
that post will never die.
Patriots, do you believe in Mac Jones in the future?
That's a tough one. I do feel like he's a good quarterback, but my worry is he's an Andy Dalton and not like a top-tier quarterback. Like, he's going to be serviceable, and he's getting into the playoffs. It's only year 1, so I can't say anything. He made the playoffs in his first year, which is very, very good. The defense is old. They're slow, and the offenses in the NFL are getting faster, and the Patriots are stacking the middle and slowing down the middle, and I don't think that's the right way to do it on defense at this point because he's just not going to be able to keep up speed-wise. Hopefully they can keep him protected and he can get some wide receivers and it pans out, but I do worry that we're having another Andy Dalton, and that would be unfortunate.
I hope not.
Yeah.
Really not. All right, tough question, a little controversial of a question. It's now hitting the state of New Hampshire where they're asking if trans athletes should be able to compete, I believe at a high school level.
Yeah.
Any take on that? What do you think? Like, personally, I think it's such a complicated topic.
It is very complicated topic. It's really tough. It is hard to. I think our state.
And I don't know what, because they voted on this, I believe, yesterday.
Yeah.
Because I saw Bryn, former guest of the show, she was posting about it. I don't know what the results were, but
I understand you want to be in the sport associated to your gender. It's a little difficult because we're talking about scholarships and college funds, and there's not a lot of scholarships out there for women in general. It's very difficult. I don't know. As someone who doesn't have a child, it's hard for me to get in the middle of that because, for one thing, I could understand the father or mother of a daughter or son who is trans, and also the same mother and father who are a son or child who isn't, and then competing against them.
it's like they both have a leg to
It's
stand on.
it's so tough, and we're caught like in the spot where it's like.
Because I was going to say, I don't think the birth certificate thing works because in Texas, they had a transgender boy, which was female to male. Now, when we wrestled, it's boys and girls, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but not out
Texas is
there.
a little bit bigger. Taking testosterone and all these other things, and they stuck to the birth certificate, and he was just mauling these girls.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the birth certificate, because a lot of people are just like, birth certificate, whatever's on there, that's what you go by. But I'm like, I don't know if it's that simple.
It's not that simple.
You know, and I get both sides of the aisle. And I don't know what the answer is.
Right. And I think we're not the ones that can make that answer. And like, it's really, if I say one thing, I'm wrong, and if I say another thing, I'm not an ally. Like it's like I'm caught in this weird spot where like, someone just tell me.
And I guess that's
what's the right thing.
And I guess that's why they have to vote. And,
yeah.
And what I will say though, because this comes up a lot with our sports, it comes to rec sports, shut your mouth.
Right. I don't care rec sports. Yeah.
That does not matter. Let people identify how they want to. It's not a big deal. When it comes to youth, I have concerns on both sides.
Yeah.
I could understand a trans youth being so depressed and not feeling accepted, or not feeling like people accept who they are and they want to participate where they feel they belong. On the other side, you go, well, now you have someone that may have an upper step on another athlete in sports.
Yep.
Well, how do they feel? At the end of the day, like, we're all adults, we can handle ourselves.
Yeah.
When it comes to the kids, we need to have, I think we have to have an open mind, but we can't just be so closed and shut.
Right.
They're youths.
Yep.
Let's not go there.
Right.
See if, hopefully they can figure this out. I don't think that it's one size fits all.
No.
You
and
know.
it's going to come down to states, and then eventually this is going to get to a fight where states start suing states so they can get it to the Supreme Court, and then it's just like...
It's tough. It's tough because, you know, I personally, myself, I want any child to feel that they are accepted however they want to be. As far as adults go, we'll handle it as adults.
Yeah.
You know, so... blank versus blank. Again, this was for Leo Connors, so it's a little more direct towards him. Better owner of Chaotic Wrestling, Chase Del Monte or Brian Fury?
Chase. I don't want to get into the details, but Chase wasn't Me Too'd.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Who will have an overall better career? Christian Casanova, Carmelo Hayes, or Tommaso Ciampa?
I think if we take it right now...
And I know Ciampa's already had quite the career.
Right. If we take it right now, Ciampa's the answer. It's too early in Carmelo's career. I think Carmelo has the most promising. And he doesn't have the major injuries that Ciampa had. And he got there younger. So he has the bigger opportunity to have the bigger career. But right now, in comparison, Ciampa is far superior at this point.
Do you believe Ciampa's the best NXT champion of all time?
I do, and I also think he will be the first WWE person to go into the Hall of Fame as an NXTer. I think that barrier they're going to end up breaking is saying you're a WWE Hall of Famer, NXT wing or something like that. Something that has to do with that.
Okay. Have you heard of Waves and Curls? Do you know this tag team?
Where is it from?
They're independent.
Okay.
Kind of a ripoff of
Are they in
Private
Chaotic?
Party. They have been.
Yeah.
A lot of people say they're a ripoff of Private Party and the Street Profits.
Yeah, everyone's a ripoff of someone at some point.
Well,
right?
yeah. I mean, there's people that, you know, we've talked to people on the show that said We Want the Smoke was not the Street Prop. They were not the first people to ever say that.
No, that wasn't even a wrestling thing before.
Yeah.
So like,
Waves and Curls or Main State Posse, now MSP?
Main State Posse.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, that was a pretty easy one.
Brian Malonis, the Kingpin, Manchester's own.
Yep.
I say he's the GOAT of New England wrestling. Former guest of this show, or Warbeard Hansen, now Ivar.
I would say from an independent perspective, Malonis, and you know Ring of Honor. I wouldn't consider Ring of Honor technically independent. I would consider it a major production. I think Hansen was great. The injuries have really killed him in WWE. That really sucked. That happened. All that stuff's happened to him. But Hansen was the first person to get me into wrestling. We went to that show.
The Brand New Bad.
Yeah, well, he was. I don't even know what it was called at that point. We went to some like NWL thing.
He was Brand New Bad, but he wasn't using it there.
Yeah, we were in Medford or whatever, and that was the first match. Oh, this is like legit. This is like legit to watch. And we only went there because X-Pac and Bobby Lashley were on the card and stuff, and Carlito.
And we didn't buy pictures with either one. I did get X-Pac eventually. I wish I got Bobby Lashley looking back. I never thought Bobby Lashley would get back to the main
Yeah, no, it was.
That was 2013. I said, hey, that guy's a has-been. It's never going to happen again.
Yeah. Now he's on your table.
I was wrong. He's sitting on the table now with an elite figure. That's not just a regular. That's an elite.
You got to get the elites. You can't go anything else.
I do like some basics. But anyways, Cody Rhodes or CM Punk?
Cody Rhodes. I think CM Punk is one of the most overrated wrestlers of all time. And he's only been more annoying as he's gotten older.
Really?
Yeah. I liked him for a little bit, and I know he had the issues with WWE, but he just sounds like someone who's always got a problem with something. He's always pissing and moaning. Always woe is me. It's like, dude, you suck sometimes, you know?
I'm glad he's back. I've been
couldn't-
very glad.
I
he's
liked
back.
when he came back, but I don't really care for him.
But CM Punk, it has. I think he knew it was gonna wear down. But I do think what he's got going on with MJF is great.
Yeah.
Ready for the payoff. I think if Punk never gets to be AEW champion, then it's a missed opportunity by AEW.
I agree, because he's going to draw the most attention to your brand. I would also like to see him as a heel. I think that
Yes,
I understand he's back now, so they're using it as a face type thing.
Yeah,
But it would be best if they hold off and maybe you keep Page the belt and he drops that all out to CM Punk, heel CM Punk, or you wait till like next Revolution and you turn Punk heel over the year.
I would have him win it before this year is over.
I would do something because he will cool off fast.
Better rookie year, Mac Jones or Trevor Lawrence?
Mac Jones or Trevor Lawrence?
Not much to say for Trevor Lawrence. He did knock the Colts out of the playoffs.
Yeah, well, Carson Wentz knocked him out of the playoffs. Mac Jones by far. If you just go look at that game in Week 17 where the Patriots just beat them down.
Yeah.
I think Trevor Lawrence has a future. I do. He needs offensive weapons. He needs an offensive line. He needs a full new coaching staff, which he's getting. He needs a whole new ownership. He needs out of Jacksonville.
That's a lot.
I would be him. I would be like, I will play out my rookie deal, and I will opt out and get the heck out of Dodge and just hope you don't have a knee injury.
And we will say the Khan family, which owns AEW, also owns the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Get them out of NFL. The owners of the Jaguars need to go.
Bryan Danielson or Hangman Page?
Bryan Danielson. Hangman Page is just... he's so boring. He's like, oh, what's your favorite meal? Triscuit crackers with water. Like, oh my God.
He likes his drinks.
It's boring. Like, cool, you drink beer. You know? This country has a problem with alcoholism. You're a cool dude, I guess, right? Like,
yeah, I think I've never been, like, I like Hangman, but I always thought it was a little overrated.
He's just boring to me. Like, he has great matches. He has good matches. I'm not going to take that away from him. He's a boring character.
Cowboy shit was like the most over thing, though, for a minute. And now it seems like it's cooled down.
Yeah. I mean, he had the time in September where he had to take off because of all that other stuff. And
Well, he had his kid, then he come back and won the title. It was a little bit like...
It just cooled off.
All right, a lot of crazy stuff happening in the news. We got the Ukraine situation.
No, jeez.
People want to know, who would you pick? Joe Biden or Donald Trump?
What the hell was that?
What? Dan, what's going on? Dan,
Somebody get Dr. Rahman.
what's going on in there?
What the?
Dan?
What the heck?
Dan?
Are you guys good? Are you guys good?
Yeah. What?
All right, we're just.
What just happened?
We're gonna cut it.
Yeah, cut it.